Ronald Acuna Jr., the Atlanta Braves star, and he had an incident. No, I should say he tweeted about an incident that happened, and it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. He actually took down the tweet, but it sent a little shockwaves through the Atlanta Braves clubhouse and team. And Bo, jump in and set the table for us.
Yeah, so basically what happened is that Braves outfielder Jarred Kelenic thought that he had hit a home run. He admired it, did all that stuff. Then he realized he needed to hustle, got thrown out at second base. Braves manager Brian Snitker, he was asked about it, said he shrugged it off, saying he didn't see – Kelenic always hustles. He didn't see it until it was brought to his attention, which drew the ire of Braves outfielder Ronald Acuna Jr., who was rehabbing and watching the game at home. Braves beat writer Mark Bowman tweeted about Snitker's reaction, to which Ronald Acuna replied, if it were me, they would have taken me out of the game, which they have done previously.
Yeah, they've done it a couple of times throughout his career. And they've done it to some other Latin American players as well, and that's where some people start to say, well, was what Acuna saying, is this true? When you start to look at it, it's kind of factual.
I think Acuna has said something, too, about Freddie Freeman and the way he treated him while he was in Atlanta, too. So.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this. If you have a policy, and no one is going to disagree, I don't think anybody, if you don't hustle, you should be barked at and yelled at, and you know what I mean? And
nobody disagrees, yeah.
Nobody disagrees. You got to hustle. Man, you're making millions of dollars. You're playing a kid's game. All you got to do is run the ball out, right? You hit the ball, run it out. Run the first. Somebody might drop it. Somebody might, the outfielder might misplay. Just run the ball out. That's all people
100%.
are asking you to do. Not slide head first on a routine ground ball to first base. You know what I mean? Nobody's trying to ask you to get hurt or do something stupid.
P. Rose rolling around the grave right now.
You know?
Yeah.
But you get me.
Yeah.
So I just think
but
you got to be consistent.
There you go. What he was being asked to do, Acuna Jr., and any player being asked to do, is part of the game, right? It's part of checking the boxes, dotting the I's, crossing T's of baseball and professionalism. Hey, you never know what's going to happen. And even if 98.9% of the time
you still
they catch
run it out.
It's part of being a professional in this sport. The larger conversation starts to become it's twofold for me, Rob. So the obvious one is to have a racial conversation, right? That's the one that's sitting there. That's the one that I don't know if Acuna Jr. is insinuating. It seems like he is. And I don't know if it's the one that actually may be the case, because a couple of the references that have happened were where Latin American players were benched a game because of it. And then the other examples were when white players did the same thing, they were not. It was kind of an excuse. Oh, he didn't see it, usually runs. So there is where the obvious race conversation comes into this. Before I get to that, or even if, to me, one thing I will say, also reputation. So I'm going to reserve one little bit of, do I know how you practice? Do I know what you're doing? Where you know this as a teacher, as a mentor, where sometimes, and I know this as a mentor and also a parent, some people, if you called me and say, hey, man, so-and-so, he didn't do the most remedial routine thing he's supposed to do, I'll be like, there he go again. You know what I mean? I keep trying to tell him not to do that. This is what he always does. Whereas there's other people, they do everything they're supposed to do. They're on time. They do this. They work hard. So that the time they don't do it, you naturally offer them grace.
Yeah, but I think.
So I was trying to say maybe.
But if you're going to be consistent, like that's the biggest thing. That's what people want, consistency. Yes. So somebody doesn't hustle, and Acuna has the right to be watching going, wait a minute. Had I done that, it would have been World War III. And I get you talking about a two-time offender compared to a no-time offender or whatever. It doesn't mean that he can just, the manager, flop it off and say, well, I didn't see it. Well, the video, we're telling you that this is what went on. Yeah. And then, well, that's bad on me, because if he didn't run hard or run it out, then that's not what we do here in Atlanta. I'm going to have a talk with him. And the next time that happens, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
That's the conversation you have. To just say I didn't see it and make no big deal about it. When you have a star like Acuna Jr. feels like he's being picked on, and then the idea, even bringing up the other Latin players, and that team does a lot of Latin players.
They do.
One thing you don't want to do as a manager is turn the clubhouse off.
And for Acuna
You know what
Jr.
I mean?
to take to Twitter or so easily lets me know that maybe there is some conversations
That's what
being
I'm
had.
saying.
Maybe there are some, hey, man, you ever notice, our manager, our skipper been doing things a little differently? Because for him to just take to Twitter that easily, there's frustration. Because when you're rocking with a coach, when you're rocking with a manager, you kind of go, hey, man, that's what coach wants. That's how we get down. I needed to do the blah or blah, 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 blah. You can make a reason because this is how we do it. We're all connected. We're locked in. This is a team. This is how we operate. But when you easily can do that, that lets me know you've been frustrated about some things. You've been observing some things, and that was your final straw of like, okay, look, he's sitting down, I'm sitting down. Why isn't he?
Right.
And why isn't the other guy who happened to be white? And I'm not saying this is what's happening, but, hey, perception is reality, especially for Acuna Jr., who's playing and is seeing this. And like,
Okay,
Coach, what's going on?
So here's our conversation. Let's take it here. I'm with Ronald Acuna Jr. all the way. Like, he has a gripe because it's happened to him.
Yeah.
And people have come down hard on him about not hustling and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that's just the rule.
Manny
in baseball.
Machado got a whole lot of that here with the Dodgers.
Yes, he got that with the Dodgers.
Yep.
Like, they didn't hustle, whatever, and all that. Here's where I break camp with him. And this is where the age difference between me and you probably factors in. I want to have that conversation and talk about it. I don't know if I have to broadcast everything on social media. That shouldn't have to be the only outlet. Go to the manager. Go to the general manager. Talk it out. Say, dude, I just want to know, well, what are you doing here? When I did it, it was the end of the world, and now you just say you didn't see it, or you didn't. Nothing happened. Why is that? Can you explain to me? Are we all hustling, or some people don't have to hustle? And I would rather it be that. And I even said to you earlier, it's just like we live in this world where people don't want to confront people, have those conversations. Yeah. How many guys in their 20s or whatever, or early 30s, have never asked a woman out? Never had to walk up to them and say, "Hi, I'm Rob." And
no, there's actual numbers there. I think it's like
I'm cool.
Some crazy, like 40 some study.
You seem really cool. I'd like to get to know you. Is any chance that we could go out to grab a bite, get a drink, or whatever? And you had to do that, and now guys are just swiping and sending a message. Well, if she doesn't answer back, next, go to the next girl, whatever it is. And they're just, it's unbelievable. And that's the part where I think Acuna could have handled it without just going to social media, because he wound up taking the post down.
And we've who just deleted something the other day.
We talk about this stuff all the time. Yep, with the umpire.
Chisholm had to delete. So here's the thing, Rob, and this is where I know I'm younger than you, but I'm also older than Chisholm. I'm older than Acuna Jr., right? I'm probably anywhere from, maybe 20 years, some of these guys senior, and that's their default. How many times have you seen this? Mary Mack, are you in there? You've seen this. Bo, you've seen this. Where people will be in an argument with somebody. It could be their boyfriend, their girlfriend, their best friend. It could be their sister or brother. They're 5 feet away from each other, but they're texting the argument.
Right.
Literally, I can't believe you. Oh, well, how would you say that? Well, if you want to do something, we can. They're 5 feet, 10 feet away from each other. It is just the handheld, this ability to say things without having to actually say it, without having to make eye contact, without having to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations. That is where we are. So the default is, oh my gosh, I saw something. Let me rush to get it out. Can't believe you say that. Tweet. Oh my gosh, I'm mad at my coach. Tweet. Me and my boyfriend had an argument. Post on Facebook break. I can't believe he would do me like that. My mom gets on my nerves. And that's just the day and age we're in. And if you look at the advent of Facebook, that goes back to about 2007-ish. So now that is 18 years. A lot of these players, 25, 28. So since they were 5, 6, 7, 10 years old, this is all they've ever known. When I'm frustrated, I vent about it. I'm in love. I tell everybody about it. I'm about to go get this new job before they have the job. On my way to an interview.
Stuff, right. I just can't get over it.
It's amazing. And I don't know how to change that. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to advocate for the young people. Say, hey, you don't have to expose all your business. Tell all your business. And I'm glad I'm a hybrid. I'm young enough to understand them and hip and can hang with them a little bit. I understand what's what. But I'm old enough to also remember when you didn't tell all your business. When you did things You let things happen before you said they happened. They actually would. And so I say that to say he absolutely should have walked right in to the skipper's, office and say, hey, look, man, I'm going to be honest with you. Me and a few of the guys, we're confused right now. We're not understanding why things aren't the same, why they aren't apples to apples and equal. Because I did this and I missed a game. He did it, he missed a game. He doesn't get a game. He doesn't, get suspended.
And that's a fair question.
And you have a legitimate conversation, and he might come down. It might come down to, you don't be practicing hard enough. Or, remember that time I told you about it before? And then you did it again. You might, oh, shoot, that's right. I forgot about that. Or you might have an uncomfortable conversation. And that's the perception. You say, hey, we feel like us as Latin Americans, we feel like something's going on. But have it. You got to have it, man. And to your point, we're losing that ability to look somebody eye to eye, man to man, and have these conversations and that dialogue and say, hey, this is what I'm feeling. This is where I am. When we were coming up, remember they called it I messages. I feel that and I feel uncomfortable when you had to have those conversations. We're not having them now. The first thing I do is take the Instagram, I take the Twitter, I take the Snapchat, take the TikTok.
But put all your business out there.
You know how many kids have gotten their parents in trouble just because their parent parented? I'm doing an Instagram live. I can't believe my mom or dad would yell at me right now. They told me I can't. Mary's pointing at me how right I am. I can't believe she's a horrible mother right now. And then they oversell what really happened, and the parents get calls. Your child said you did this. You're like, no. Yeah, I disciplined my child like I'm supposed to do. It's a different animal. We didn't want to get our parents in trouble. We wanted to. Yeah, it's just different.
It is.